shown. They knew he had them, and they knew where they were. And that wasn't a good thing. Okay, any other question or comments? You get that up and going? I figured you could. We're on page 5, ready to begin section E. You had to finish out page 5.
And that's the sort of the 697 to 614, and that's what ones who had added during the end of 15 years of life. And that's the end of reign at the age of 12, reigning for 55 years. All the kings of Judah, there was none so vile and wicked as Manasseh. Before the Syrian invasion of Israel in that days of Isaiah, first the Syro-Ephraimite war, circa 734 BC, Isaiah chapter 7. Second was the fall of Samaria, 722 BC, second chapter 7. Third was the Ashdod rebellion, 711 BC, Isaiah chapter 20, and Sargon. And number 4 was the siege of Jerusalem, 701 BC, Isaiah chapter 36, 7, 16,
Okay, question or comment? Every time I hear the name Sargon, I think of video games. And I haven't played in years. Yeah. None were quite so villain as Manasseh, though. Okay. Page 6. If you feel up to it, go ahead and do all of A. Okay. Yeah. Well, you did a good job. Yeah, any question or comment? Okay. He ministered during some very difficult times and did a good job. I would have to research it. I don't know off the top of my head. At least 5. I've seen Isaiah chapter 1. Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. And we can read B there if you would. I think so. Designation. Omnipotent. You don't have to read them.
Is used by the right prophet, except Ezekiel, Joel, Obadiah, and the boat designated the army of Israel. It also refers to the angels, the heavenly messengers of the Lord. Isaiah 6:5, 31:4, 37. And to the stars as God shows Isaiah 40:46, 35:12, Psalm 33:10,
Nehemiah.
Nehemiah 9:10. It has ears, it appears without further qualification. It intimates the Lord as the God of all hosts, and is thus an equivalent expression for the all-powerful God. Edward J. Young, the book of Isaiah, clearly another designation for the Lord is the Holy One of Israel, which occurs 25 times in Isaiah. This expression has been called Isaiah's prophetic stance, because of his frequent use. The same expression is found only 6 times in all the rest of the Bible.
Okay. Does everybody know what omnipotent means? That's omniscient. It's good. That is a good track. That's a big word. Omnipotent, I think, is easier to spell. It means, what is it? You remember? That's omniscient. You can kind of get a little bit from breaking it down. Omnipotent, omnipotent. That means all powerful. So there's omnipotent, there's omniscient, and there's omnipresent. I, that's the big three. I don't remember if there's another one. It seems like maybe there is, but I can't remember. Yeah. So this um, the Lord of hosts. It says the name designates the Lord as omnipotent. So, what's your comment? At the top of page 7 is a chart that provides you with all the references for the Holy One of Israel, the Holy One of Jacob, the Holy One, the Mighty One of Israel, Mighty One of Jacob, the Lofty One. So if you're interested in studying that a little further, why there's some information available. Yeah, all 62 of them. Huh? Yeah. Okay. See. Okay. Question, comment? Okay. Ezekiel, of course, in his writings made it abundantly clear that the responsibility falls upon the sinner. And you know, the one who sins is the one who suffers. And it's also true that those close to the one who sins and suffers suffer also. Uh, okay. It's a little hard sometimes to wrap our heads around the idea that, like in the conquest of Canaan, that the Jewish armies, the armies of Israel, destroyed cities and peoples and what have you, uh, and yet they were doing what God instructed them to do. And therefore, there was no um, responsibility for the sin of murder, or all of the killing. Um, but just like people today, they had enough sin of their own that they were responsible for, that they didn't need any extra. But God doesn't punish people for carrying out His will. We have to remember that, and that's sometimes kind of hard to be able to separate like that, from the military aspect to the civilian aspect, you know, and mhm. Mhm. Okay. Right. So which came first, the Babylonian age or the Assyrian age? The chicken. The Assyrian armies destroyed the northern kingdom, Israel, in about 728, 25, in the mid 720s. And the Babylonian army took out Judah, or Ephraim, as it's sometimes called, um, with the first migration from Jerusalem to Babylon was in about 606. Um, I know you were taught a different date than that, but it's all approximate. uh, so that, Daniel and his friends were among the notables in the first migration in about 606 BC. And so there was a good 100 years in between the fall of Israel and the fall of Judah. Two different armies. Anything else? See, I believe we're ready for D, right? Whoever's next. Okay. One of the reasons I think that the author in the next couple of pages included some stuff that he did, one of his goals, I think, it appears that one of his goals was to um, show us the references in the New Testament that originated in the Old Testament, in the book of Isaiah. And so doing, when the New Testament writers quote the book of Isaiah, then that is the same as God putting his stamp of approval upon the book of Isaiah. And so God considered it his word, and Jesus and the New Testament writers quoted it freely. If you notice, there were a lot of references um, to the book of Isaiah. And so we find the New Testament teaches the inspiration of the scriptures. God used the men to write his word, and by quoting it, puts his stamp of approval upon both writings, the old and the new. What's your comment? Everybody got the next page done? Yes. And it's really hard when your memory isn't what it's supposed to be. uh, so everybody got it done, or did everybody have trouble finding it? Yeah. Well, you're ahead of me. I'll have to confess. There's 4 of them or 5 of them that I didn't get. But we try to make our way through. The instruction is to match the New Testament scriptures in which Isaiah is referred to by name. And part of the conflict is that he's not mentioned in Isaiah by name very often. And so you go looking. Well, I suppose, but at any rate, an old brain like mine doesn't always put things together right. And so you would look for, in the New Testament scriptures, a mention of Isaiah, and then match what the chapter in Isaiah where it's quoted in the New Testament. And so Isaiah 1:9 says, except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. So where did you find that to be quoted in the New Testament? Okay. Romans 9:29. You want to read that for us?
And it has Isaiah said before, except the Lord of hosts has left us a seed, we have been as Sodom and made like.
Okay. It would be nice. It would be nice if they used the same spelling for Sodom every time. And Isaiah, King James is about the only currently in use, widely used Bible that uses Isaiah. Okay, um, Isaiah 6, 9, and 10, chapter 6, verses 9 and 10. Then he said, Go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert, and be healed. Got a volunteer? Almost there. Do you mean to Acts 4? Yeah. Okay. Am I got another one? Okay. We'll pick up there next time. Uh, 2. Well, we'll